My name is Federico. I'm a radio host from Reactor 105 here in Mexico City. If you're ready, let's begin.
Yes, absolutely.
The first question is, where does the inspiration come from? Maybe life itself is inspiration, or maybe you took a specific topic and start working on that.
I'm not very good at picking topics because uh, I think when I was younger, I would pick a topic or like want to write a song about something, and I just come at it from the outside, and I'd end up writing things that were not interesting, to me, anyways. So usually I just kind of, it's tricky. I haven't written a song in a while, so I don't really remember how I do it. But I just write things from inside, and usually it starts with just playing something on the piano, and then and it usually repeats, and then I just start writing lyrics, and I try to just not think about what the song's about, because usually, I don't really know what that song's about. I kind of know what the song's about, but I'm not sure. And so it's kind of this, I guess it's more the automatic writing process. So I kind of find out what the subject is at the end.
In the journey between all your discography, what changes between New Ways and Revelations?
Yeah, well, New Ways, I did kind of have the intention that I wanted it to be more about kind of relationships, I think, on that record. Kind of this kind of interesting kind of two people coming together and separating. And on Revelation, it was very different because I started writing it. I'd written Southern Star, but all the other songs were written during the pandemic. It was the first time I saw all the seasons change from the same window. And so it was very, very, very quiet, very slow. And I really kind of reconnected with, it's a very, very different, it's a very solitary record, but I ended up remembering who I cared about. And mostly a lot what happened during that time, quiet.
In this way, like, feel the brand new songs like A Dream. It's that new song, the Southern Stars, that has been described as one of your most personal songs. So what's the process like for you in crafting this track, and what does it represent for you in a personal way?
Yeah, that song it's kind of like a lot of people that mean a lot to me are in that song, and a lot of images that kind of my whole life seems to be in that song. It's the first one I wrote for the record, so it's the outlier, kind of sits above or beside all the other songs.
You mentioned that the writing process of this song took 2 years to complete. How do you know when a song is truly finished and ready to share with the world?
That's a great question. It's that it was missing a line. I wasn't really changing lines or anything. It was that it was missing, I think it was missing the very last line. I think is what it was missing. So I just didn't have it. And I think the last line is "Sweet Mother with the Angel Soul." I think that's the last line. And so you kind of know, because what's without rhyming, that's kind of, for me, when the song is done, is when you don't really want to replace anything.
You told me about this journey is like a personal journey between the dreams, the feeling, the way you feel the songs work. But in this new album, there's a lot of collaboration. So how did this collaboration come about, and how did they influence the overall sound of the album?
Well, I'm a bit totalitarian in the studio, so I kind of I picked the microphones, I picked the engineer, I picked the studio, but what I do is, I remember reading, not that I'm Miles Davis, but I remember reading that Miles Davis, he just picks the people in the band that already played the notes that he likes. He doesn't get a band together and start telling people, no, you shouldn't hit that B flat, you should hit the C. Like, he's not doing that. He's going, yeah, the way you play is the way I hear music, so get into the studio with me and be yourself. And so that's kind of how I like to do it, is that I just find musicians and engineers that already sound like what I'm hearing in my head, and then I just tell them to be completely free. But in my mind, I'm controlling everything because I've already picked them, I know how they approach music, carefully selecting who I'm going to have in the room. and and work off of their energy, I guess.
I have more questions about the science, alchemist, the way you work on live show, but I'm running out of time. So I have a final question for you. And describe me, Leif Vollebekk, in 3 words.
Somebody described me in 2 words last week, and I was very touched. So but I don't think it's true, but I want it to be true. She said a technical spiritualist.
Maybe we can put dream in the first 2 words, and fits perfectly.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's important to work really hard, get your technique good, but then also be completely free. And so it's always a struggle, but that's the goal, really.